Subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss an update from First Post.
Hi Diego, it's a pleasure having you with us. So I want to start off by asking you, is this your first time in India?
It is my first time in India. I've been here for 36 hours and so far I've had the best food ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love Indian food and I think there's tons of similarities with Mexican cuisine.
Yeah, there are actually, the flavor and spices and stuff. So before you came here, did you speak to anyone at all who told you to visit a certain place in India or do a certain thing here?
No. I mean, yes, of course. But I have to say that I don't consider these trips like a real chance to explore anything, you know?
Of course.
Because I spend most of my day in this hotel room talking about the TV series and answering questions. And what I can tell you is that the 2 hours I got to tour a little bit of the city yesterday, I realized I have to come back. There is a lot for me to see here, to explore. And this country, you know, it's so rich, so interesting, diverse, and I have to give it a try. I'm waiting for my kids to be a little older so they can do it with me.
Make a family vacation out of it.
Yeah, to bring them and not have to drag them, you know, because for sure there's a lot to see here.
Right, of course. So your character, Félix Gallardo, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be very good at the pronunciation.
You said it right.
He's obviously a negative and deeply flawed character, to say the least, right? So in order to play such a character, do you at all have to somewhere like the guy or find some kind of connect with him?
Not like him, I wouldn't say like him, but I cannot judge him, you know. That's not my job. My job is to make sure I humanize the character, make sure you believe you're watching a real person, you know. Otherwise, we do cartoons and this becomes like superhero films where the bad guy arrives and says, oh, I am very bad, and you go like, oh, the bad guy. No, here the bad guys have feelings, you know, and what motivates their actions is what motivates yours, you know. It's love, jealousy, ambition, regret, empathy. They have all of that, and you have to find those emotions and those, again, those things that trigger your actions so you can make a three-dimensional character that people will believe in, you know. Then you step back and you go like, horrible. Shit, he's doing terrible stuff, right? But in the moment, he has an explanation. If you ask him, he will tell you why he's doing it, and it has to make sense.
And
you know?
You just humanize him and make him as believable to everyone as possible.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is humanizing, the other is glorifying. I humanize a character because that's my job, that's what I get paid for, and that's what I enjoy doing as an actor. Then we're telling you a story about a horrible system where they're all victims somehow, you know? It's not a bad guy and a good guy, you know? It's not that Michael's character is a good guy and mine is a bad and one is chasing the other. No, this is a system, a corrupted system where every level of power is involved, you know? Where you have the politicians, you have the police, you have the military, you have politicians on the other side of the border, you have the banks helping move the money, you have like all of that kind of structure has to work perfectly in order for this to exist and this market to be fed, you know. So it's a little more complicated than just good and bad.
Right, lots of shades of grey.
If you remember all the mafia movies, were they glorifying it? Were they inviting you to be part of the mafia?
Something very attractive about the psyche of getting into this.
When you saw Goodfellas, did you want to put your friends in the trunk of your car? No. But you are interested in these characters because they are willing to do something you're not. And because they're complex and dark and obscure and twisted. And that obviously, I mean, is very interesting as audience to follow, to analyze, to try to understand. This whole thing is just to say that we have to be careful with the wording we use, and I don't think we're telling you the story of heroes here. You know, which is a big mistake sometimes that shows on drug dealing and drug dealers do,
Right.
you know, where they talk to them as if they were heroes,
Yeah.
you know, and that is dangerous. But I don't think this project does that.
So, being born and brought up in Mexico, what are your overall thoughts of this season of Narcos? Because how important was it to you to have a show that reaches such a wide audience with 50% of it being spoken in Spanish and, you know, with Trump-led USA? So, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I do think it's an important story to be told out of Mexico. And that's why I'm doing all this tour, you know.
Right.
Definitely the show will be seen in my country, but it's not for them, you know.
Yeah.
It's for the rest of the world. And for those who don't even know where Mexico is or what Mexico is going through, you have to understand we're living a war in Mexico
Yeah.
these days, you know. And this is the foundation of that war.
Right. It's still so relevant. The show is still so relevant to...
This story of the 80s helps you understand how the hell did we got to the mess we're living in today.
Right.
In Mexico, the violence is crazy at the moment. And the last 12 years, more than 250,000 people have been killed.
Right.
So we're talking about real loss, real, you know, pain. It's important that we understand that violence doesn't belong to Mexico.
Yeah.
That violence belongs to all of us
To the world,
because the market is everywhere.
Right.
You know, we just happen to be the door between the countries on development and the first world.
Right.
The countries that are producing the drugs and where the market is.
Right.
This violence belongs to all of us, and if we accept that, one day we can stop it.
We can't not have you here and ask you about this. A little off topic, but what was your Star Wars experience like?
Yes, it's
Ending
like,
on a positive note.
no, it's a dream come true. I mean, I grew up watching those films, and being part of that universe is amazing.
Right.
I love it. I love it, and I do it with a lot of pleasure also, because I can share it with my kids. You know,
Right.
I cannot show them Narcos.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having
Thank
you.
you.
It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you.